So, if you've been keeping an eye on the Charlotte real estate market, you have definitely felt a change in the air. That frenzy we all got used to, it's kind of faded. And you're probably asking yourself, what's next? Well, we're going to dive right into the latest data and figure out what this new normal in Charlotte is all about.
And here's the million-dollar question, right? Is the Charlotte real estate market just cooling down, or is it actually crashing? It's on everyone's mind. So let's look at the real numbers and separate the facts from the fear.
Okay, so this is the number that's got everyone a little nervous. Homes are sitting on the market almost 36% longer than they did just last year. And yeah, at first glance, that looks pretty alarming. It feels like someone just slammed on the brakes, doesn't it? But, and this is a big but, this one number does not tell the whole story, not even close.
Because the reality is a little more interesting. What we're actually seeing isn't a crash, it's a rebalance. A much neater rebalance, actually. Let me show you what I mean. So homes are taking longer to sell, sure. But get this, the actual number of homes sold is up by almost 10% compared to last year. Let that sink in. People are still buying houses. In fact, more houses are being sold right now than this time last year. That is not the sign of a crashing market. It's the sign of a strong, active one.
And it doesn't stop there. Here's another piece of the puzzle. Pending sales are up over 13%, and this is the third month in a row we've seen growth here. That tells you that buyer confidence is coming back, and there's a lot of activity in the pipeline.
So you see, when you put all the pieces together, the picture becomes really clear. The Charlotte market isn't crashing. It's just catching its breath. It's moving away from a pace that was just impossible to maintain and settling into something way more stable and predictable. Honestly, this is what a healthy market is supposed to look like.
Now, to really get a handle on this new normal, we have to talk about something called a balanced market. You can think of it like the Goldilocks zone of real estate. Not too hot, not too cold. It's when there are about 4 to 6 months of homes for sale. In a market like that, neither buyers nor sellers really have the upper hand. It's fair.
So where's Charlotte at right now? We're sitting at 3.3 months of supply. Now, technically, that's still a seller's market, right? But the key here is the direction we're headed. We are steadily moving away from that crazy, lopsided seller's market and toward that balanced sweet spot.
And this just lays it out perfectly. It shows what that shift actually feels like. We're leaving behind that old market of just chaos, frenzied bidding wars, people waiving critical inspections. That's over. And we're walking into a new market, a market with thoughtful negotiations, where due diligence is back on the table. Yes, you can get an inspection, and where buyers actually have choices. The power is finally being shared.
All right, so what does all this mean for you, if you're a buyer out there? Well, in a nutshell, you've got power again. Let's break down exactly what your new advantages are in this rebalanced market.
Okay, buyers, listen up. You have 3 amazing advantages right now that just didn't exist a year ago. First up, the gift of time. The average home is on the market for 53 days. You can actually take a weekend to think about it. Second, the power of choice. Listings are up by a whopping 23%. And maybe most importantly, the return of real, actual negotiation.
And if you need proof that you can actually negotiate again, just look at this. It's incredible. The majority, 58% of homes sold in Charlotte, are now selling for under the asking price. Only a quarter are going for over asking. I mean, that is a complete 180 from the market we were all living in just a short time ago.
Okay, let's flip the coin and look at this from the other side. If you're thinking about selling your home, listen, the game has changed. Your old strategy just isn't going to cut it anymore. You know, this quote from our analysis really says it all perfectly. The days of just sticking a sign in the yard and watching the over-asking offers roll in, well, those days are over. To be successful now, you have to be way more strategic. And this is a perfect example of the market correcting itself. Right now, 1 out of every 4 homes listed for sale has had to reduce its price. That tells you that buyers have options, and they're not going to overpay. Sellers who price their home too high from the get-go are being forced to adjust to reality.
So, what's the new playbook for sellers? It really boils down to 3 things. Number 1, your price has to be based on today's data, not what your neighbor got a year ago. Number 2, you have to go in expecting to negotiate on price, on repairs, on everything. And number 3, with more homes for sale, you got to make sure yours is the one that really stands out.
Now, this doesn't mean it's a bad time to sell. Not at all. Just look at this number.
On average, homes are still selling for nearly 99% of their original list price. So the takeaway here is, if you price it right from the start, you are still going to get a fantastic result. It's all about that initial strategy.
Okay, let's bring it all home. This isn't a buyer's market, and it's not really a seller's market anymore. It's a balanced market. And to navigate this new normal, everyone needs a new playbook.
And here's what that playbook looks like side by side. For buyers, your mindset is patient and prepared. Your most important move is to use your newfound time to do all your homework, your due diligence, and your big advantage is the power to negotiate. For sellers, your mindset has to be realistic and strategic. Your key action is to price your home based on the facts, and your advantage is that you're selling into a market that is still very, very active.
And that right there is really the bottom line. The Charlotte real estate market is alive and well. The opportunities are absolutely still there, whether you're buying or selling. The only thing that's changed are the rules of the game. So, as we wrap this up, the final question is really for you. Now that you understand this shift, now that you see the move from frenzy to balance, and you know the new playbook, are you prepared to make your move?